The Rotary E-Club of Raleigh International is what's called a cause-based club. That means that rather than focusing our service on the local community, we have focused our service on the Caribbean, and more specifically on Jamaica, and even more specifically still on the Lister Mayor Gilby High School for the Deaf. So our service activities are very narrowly focused on this one school. And because we're so focused, we are making a very big impact. You can sum up our club with these three words: connect, travel, and serve. We connect with members and expand our worldview because at our weekly meetings, we have speakers that discuss a wide variety of subjects. And we want to get to know our members and to support them both professionally and personally. We also travel to the Caribbean, Jamaica, and we immerse ourselves in the culture of the community and the deaf culture specifically. We serve throughout the year during our small service projects and through club service and through raising money. And then we go to Jamaica and we have the opportunity for hands-on service projects. We are based worldwide, and today is a great example of that. We've got people from Germany, from several states in the United States, and from Jamaica on the call, and I may well have missed someone, but because we meet online, we can accept members from anywhere in the world that find our time of meeting convenient. This is just an administrative detail, but we are called a satellite club of the Rotary Club of Oxford. You can't be an official Rotary Club until you have 20 members. So we will apply to become a standalone chartered Rotary Club as soon as we have 20 members. So if any of you are at all interested in joining us, we'd be delighted. We currently have 13 active members and we need 7 more. So who are our members? We were very specific as to who we were looking for. Rotarians allow you to become a member of a Rotary Club if you're 18 years old or older. But we said we want people who are mid-career to retired, people with a heart for service. The reason we chose that demographic is that you probably have some time and money, which allows you to travel to the Caribbean. We want people who are able to participate in our online meetings because we want to get to know our members and also participate in the service projects. We have several committees, and as we grow the committees and the opportunities to serve will expand. And of course, contribute to the projects, both with hands-on service and financially. And as I mentioned, you can live anywhere. So we have adopted the Lister Mayor Gilby High School for the Deaf, which is located in Pepin, Jamaica. And why? Why are we focusing on Jamaica? Well, it's all Peter's fault, and I guess also, and I've lost her name, Marcia's fault, that that we found out about Lister Mayor. I mean, Peter being born in Jamaica and still, traveling there frequently, has deep connections on the island and can help us with our projects. And so basically it was the circumstances that led us to this country of focus and the school. We were there for the first time in May of last year on an exploratory trip while we were on the island for a different project. And we realized they have a long list of needs and that we'll be able to therefore work with them for many years. And over the course of the year, we have developed meaningful connections, both with the school as well as our partner club, the Kingston East and Port Royal Club in Kingston. So why again Jamaica? Well, Jamaica is the second poorest country in the Caribbean behind Haiti. And this poverty has an impact directly on education in Jamaica. Families can't afford the uniforms, transportation, lunches. Students often need to work to support their families. And then the issues for the deaf community are even greater than for children that are more mainstream. So more than half of the deaf community in Jamaica lives in poverty. So there's a great need for education as a whole, but particularly for this particular deaf community. So Listermere Gilby was established in 1966, and you may be able to see from this picture, it's a group of buildings open to the outside, as makes sense in the Caribbean. And it has a central courtyard, which you can see a portion of in this picture. All of the teachers and staff are bilingual. They're fluent in Jamaican Sign Language and in English. It's the only certified school for the deaf in Jamaica, and there are the 3 campuses with a total of around 120 students. So our first project this past year was the school's top priority. One of the things that's very important to us is that we listen to the school administrator and say, what are your needs? How can we help you? As opposed to saying, this is what we can do and this is what we're going to bring to you. We want to listen to the school and make sure that what we do will be helpful. So the number one priority for this year was to provide them with computers. They had computers that were 15 years old and basically couldn't do much of anything. So we provided those computers. We also conducted several smaller hands-on projects while we were there. And as I mentioned earlier, the trip was designed to include both hands-on service, Rotary events, tourist and cultural activities. We had a formal handover ceremony. We painted classrooms. We sorted school textbooks. We provided supplies for an entrepreneurship class. We also honored the school staff, which is the picture here. We provided lunch for them. And that was actually very important for this from the school administrator's perspective. She said, you know, the school is underfunded. The teachers do amazing work with very little in the way of resources. So honoring their dedication to the students and to the school was important. And so that's why we had this lunch. We had an evening reception for the school staff and local Rotarians. And then as a team, we had group dinners. This club also has an ongoing project that provides funds to support purchase of hygiene supplies, which is important for self-esteem for the students. So this was the pictures of the arrival. Okay, well, first of all, top left, Peter received all of the computers and stuff in his house. I'm sure his wife of 32 years was not delighted with that, but thank you for doing that for us. And then Peter arranged to get it shipped. The other pictures are receiving them at the school. We provided computers, modems, not modems, computers, projectors, power strips, a number of and monitors, a number of accessories to make it all work together. 13 of us went on the trip, and here's us having some fun, both at the school and in the evenings. And then we were painting in all kinds of awkward positions. And so that was some hard work. We started thinking we were going to paint 2 classrooms, and we ended up painting 4. So the team really did some exemplary work in refreshing these classrooms. We also, and Yvonne was on this mess, had inherited 2 classrooms filled with boxes and boxes of textbooks that were not necessarily organized even in the box in a way that was very systematic. So several of us spent hours going through dusty textbooks and rearranging them on the shelves so that the teachers can find the resources they need. And then I mentioned the staff appreciation lunch and the cocktail reception, which included the induction of a new member. And then at the end of the long day, we all kind of chilled out and just relaxed and waited for the bus back to our hotel. And during the trip, we enjoyed some Jamaican cuisine, and I think there was rum involved from time to time. And David made some really strong connections with some of the students, including a young man that was fascinated with his computer. And here are some of the students waiting for their buses and thanking us. On the right-hand side, it was a picture taken by the school administration after they received the computers at one of the satellite campuses in Maypen. So that's what we did last year. So what are we going to do in the coming year? We already have identified what we expect to do. Of course, things can change along the way. Again, these are based on the school's priorities, not on our ideas. It's what the school wants and needs. The first is a shower facility and changing room for the girls. You know, they have gym classes, but after gym class in the hot Caribbean sun, there's no way for them to freshen up. So we're going to remodel this previously designed but hasn't been used in decades shower area, including shower stalls, toilets, sinks, countertop, that sort of thing. So again, the teacher or the principal keeps reinforcing to us the importance of self-esteem. And so this will help the girls feel comfortable and feel better about themselves. Then we ultimately probably would like to replace 6 air conditioners in various areas of the campus. But the first one is the one that will protect our investment in computer equipment. That air conditioning unit stopped working recently, and so we need to replace that so that the computers aren't fried. So that's the number 2 priority. And then the third, they have a stairway from the first floor to the second floor classrooms, which, it's warm in the Caribbean, it's great, but it's not covered. And so when the wet season arrives, it's impossible to safely traverse these stairs. And again, who wants to be wet and sitting in class? So our next goal is to provide a cover for this outdoor stairwell. So how can you help? You can become a member of our club and help us, become a chartered member of Rotary and be able to do more with that status. You could join us in Jamaica. We have tentative dates. We're waiting for the school to confirm which week would be better for them. They want us to do the work, even though these are big and complex projects in some cases, during the school year, during the school week. And the reason for that is essentially security, that we need to have a caretaker or a guard available to let us into the campus. And if we do it either during a school break or during a weekend, that becomes difficult in finding the personnel to do that. And also they don't have the budget for the overtime. So they want us to work during the school week. So this is a week in February. We'll probably extend the actual travel after that week to include a day or 2 or 4 of a fun time, which will be an add-on to the trip for those that are interested. And then thirdly, you could donate funds. I mean, these projects are going to take, we're estimating around 20,000 US dollars. We have begun fundraising in an aggressive way, but we don't have the money yet. So finding the funds is an important thing we need to do. So again, we hope that you'll explore us as a possibility for membership. It's an opportunity to make new business connections for those of us that are still working and new friendships for those of us that are in a new phase of life in retirement. A chance to travel and learn about cultures that may be new to you. And again, we mentioned the trip will be more than likely in February, and to make a real difference through service. And for those, many of you are already receiving our newsletter. We have a database and we send out newsletters about once a week. If you would like to receive the newsletter and are not already, would you please put your name and email in the chat? You can send it directly to me if you don't want to publish it to the whole group, and I'll add you to our database and we'll include you in our future communiques. And on the right-hand side of this slide is Rotary's vision statement. And I think this club is doing everything we can to live this in a very complete and thorough way. So I am done with questions. I must have just done a great job because nobody's got a question. There must be a question.
No.
Beverly?
No, you covered that very well.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, this is not a question, but a comment. Thanks, Marie, for that. That was very comprehensive, and it encapsulates quite nicely exactly what we're about. I feel very happy, very proud to be part of this club, and to imagine that we have not even charted yet, and we've managed to have such a great impact in terms of the project that we've just started with the school and that we plan to continue doing. I look forward greatly to what is to come, but I would encourage everyone to take a close look at what we're doing. It's not just about the projects, which are impactful, but also about, sharing time with each other. I can tell you we had so much fun in Jamaica that we did not even realize that we're doing hard work, right? So, thanks, Marie.
I have a quick question. Um, uh, if I was to join your organization, I'm not able to do physical work. Do you seem to need donations? And how would one go about getting those donations? How do you get donations for all the computers and everything else that you've been able to give? And that's so wonderful. I'm sure the kids are great and happy about that. But how would one, if I was to join, what would be required from me?
Thank you for that question. And Judy, I see your hand. So once I ramble on a bit about Sanders' question, I'll ask you to participate. Okay, so membership requirements, we would like people to attend our meetings as best they can and to participate in service, both financially as well as in Jamaica if possible. And obviously not everybody can travel at the time that we're traveling, or so there's that. Part of our dues structure includes a donation to our project. It's incorporated in the dues structure. So there is a partial funding there. The bigger funding, because these are very expensive projects, is done through a Rotary district grant. And the way those work are any Rotary club that contributes to our project, we can access matching funds. So I've reached out to 11 different Rotary clubs asking them for money. And I'm awaiting their commitment at this point. But basically, if they give me $1,000, the district will match that $1,000. And so we're going for the maximum match, which is 9,500 US dollars. So I'm hopeful that we'll be able to find partners that will help us with that. And then, of course, we will need to raise above that, more than likely. And so we will accept donations, and we're currently not a 501c3, a nonprofit in the US. We are not that yet. And so we are working with a church that is helping us with the charitable donation portion. We have, however, David submitted right away last summer a charter through North Carolina to become a nonprofit, and then submitted that to the IRS to have nonprofit status. He checked it yesterday, and we're still in the pipeline, and they receive applications of over 300 nonprofit applications a day. So it may be a while before we actually can receive donations as a nonprofit charity directly, but we will find other ways. So yes, we will be happy to have your money. And
Marie, can I just add one thing? The second part of that question, I think, was that you're not able to do physical work. We always need supervisors. And when we were in Jamaica a couple of weeks ago, everybody participated at some point, but there was a lot of hanging around in the shade and talking with our partners from KEPR and talking with each other. It's a relaxed, informal occasion, and we don't need anyone to do anything strenuous if they're not able to do it. So please don't let that inhibit you from thinking about coming to join us. It's designed to be a fun adventure as well as a meaningful service project.
And we think also that something that we might be able to do next year is to share our vocational expertise. And for instance, Sarah on this call at one point owned a cake bakery, and perhaps she could teach the children how to decorate cupcakes as a way for them to expand their entrepreneurial skills. And there may be other things that we could do in that way. So creativity, using our skill set, that's part of what Rotary is all about, is to share our vocational expertise. And we can always use a second photographer. And
Uh-oh.
Past President Michael, I see your hand, but I had some,
Judy.
Director Judy, I think it was. Could you ask your question, Judy?
Okay, it wasn't a question. I just wanted to take this opportunity to commend the Rotary Club of Raleigh International for all the work that they have done already, just as a sister club. It is truly an amazing achievement, especially when we look at all the assistance and the lives that you have impacted at the Listomere High School for the Deaf. So I just wanted to commend you all and the leadership and how actively engaged your members are in this process. What I would also recommend is if you could have the school administrators tracked the impact that your donations and your projects have on the lives of these students whilst they are there and when they actually transition to the world of work. So that is what I would recommend for you to do, because you can actually see the progress, the growth, and how they have improved their overall lives because of the donations and the projects of your Rotary Club. So I think that is one of the measurable matrix for success that your club can also track, document, and hold it as a banner. I am the director of membership, and I love how it was articulated that you do targeted. I'm also in the military. You do targeted recruitment of persons who have the time to attend your meetings and also the money to spend, because it takes cash to care. I like the fact that you're considering your club to be a non-profit status. That is also important. And again, you are well beyond the 8 ball where that is concerned, because we are, despite our age, we are still trying to get that in Jamaica now. And as was rightly said, it's not an easy project. It's not an easy process, but you are definitely on the right track to be a most effective and successful Rotary Club. Now, with regards to your membership, I just like to take the opportunity to say there are different forms of membership. And the young lady who asked about the not being able to do manual labor, that is fine. The fact that you have an interest to serve your community and to enrich and improve the life of other persons around the world, you have what it takes to be an effective Rotarian. You could be supervisor. There are so many roles that you can take outside of the physical manual labor. We also have members of various ages and with medical issues that can't do physical labor, but they are super active in coordinating and planning events for us. So thank you all, President and the team, and I know you will achieve your goal to be a very effective and impactful Rotary Club soonest.
Well, thank you so
you.
much, Director.
Marie, just Director Judy, I want to thank you very much for those comments. And I will follow up on your suggestion to find a way to measure the impact of what we do. We have a very close relationship with the principal of Listomere Gilby, and I'm sure she will be very willing to determine how best to do that. And I wanted to throw in just one little anecdote. It doesn't really address the impact on the students, but while we were there, each of us was given a handmade bookmark from the students. In the past, they would have drawn that by hand using colored pencils, colored ink. They would have cut out shapes and made a bookmark. This time, they used the new computers and they used Canva software to design those bookmarks. They still had to cut out shape, but the bookmarks were designed electronically and then printed. And so told me that they are jumping in both feet first to learn how to use these computers in a productive way. And the school actually has plans for additional online learning. They want to teach the children coding, website design. They've got a program to teach them English using Jamaican Sign Language as the base language. So I thank you, and I think we're already beginning to see small movement, and hopefully that will grow. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'd just like to reinforce that, why hadn't we thought about that metric of measuring our success? I mean, it's such an obvious thing we should have worked into the process. So thank you for catching that early, because I think we can do that. And that, of course, will help both with recruitment of new members as well as fundraising, if people can see that what we're doing does make an impact, a lifelong impact for these kids. I think I have, I see Yvonne.
I think Past President Michael is the next one.
Yep, Michael, you're up.
Good morning, everyone. I was just following up on your response, Marie, to Sandra's question. Part of her question was actually, how do I donate? And it sounds as if there's kinds, I know you mentioned in terms of how the cash part goes, but should she have donation of kinds? I think that some clarification on that is needed for her as well.
Okay, sure. So in-kind donations, we did that actually for this last trip. We had about $500 of entrepreneurial supplies that we brought with us, posters for the classrooms, various supplies for the entrepreneurship, books, that sort of thing. I tracked those donations as an in-kind donation. So that ability to give beyond our physical labor and beyond money, we will figure out, and it will likely vary year to year based on what we're doing, but we will certainly welcome those abilities. And as far as how to actually donate financially and how to actually become a member, we'll be happy to discuss that one-on-one. And it's also in our brochure as well. Yvonne, I think you have a question.
Good morning again. No, Marie, it's not really a question, but an update. Remember, e-learning, I was trying to also get them to give some more computers to the school. Well, no, they have some. The gentleman, he contacted me on Thursday. So I told him about the internet issue. So they now they are going to squeeze in Listomere on that list, not only to increase the bandwidth for the internet, but also to give maybe individual laptops to the teachers and students. So I am going to be in dialogue with Ms. Dockery and Mr. Wright where that is concerned. So just an update.
So let me just follow up there. I think you need to follow up with Ms. Dockery quickly, because the school has permission from the ministry to install their own access point, internet access point, and they are moving ahead with a 500 megabit per second access point. So if the ministry is going to provide that, that will save the school having to spend the monthly fee for that.
Yes.
So I think all I'm saying is I think we need to do some coordination here. If they have additional laptops, if e-learning is going to provide an access point for internet, that would be great. But we need to do it before the school spends their own money.
Right. I will do so. I'll call her tomorrow. She's an ardent Adventist, so I don't disturb her on a Saturday or a Friday afternoon. So
thank you, Yvonne.
Okay.
That's great news.
Let me just mention, Angela, I'm going to answer your question. Angela, I can't read, Price, I think. Could you, if anyone who is interested in being connected to us either through membership or donation, or just knowing what in the world we're doing, we'd like to put you on our newsletter list. If you're not already receiving things and you want to be on that list, please send me a message through chat and we'll add you to that list. When is the question in chat was, when is our next Zoom meeting? We meet almost every Saturday at 9 o'clock Eastern US time. And we're going to have a daylight change soon, so it's going to be different from Jamaica pretty soon. And as far as recruiting new members, I will send out brochures to anyone I have an email for them. It has some basic information. There's a nominal vetting process. We want to make sure that people understand a little bit about the club, and then we welcome any adult with a heart for service. See if there's, and then there's a comment about learning sign language online. That's a possibility. There is a difference between American Sign Language, which is easy to find online, and Jamaican Sign Language, which is a bit more of a challenge, but there are online learning capabilities for both.
Marie, let me address that, please. The Jamaica Association for the Deaf is running 2 online classes this year to teach people basic Jamaican Sign Language. The first one starts in March and runs through early May. The second one is, I think, August through late September. There is a fee. The fee is $1,500 Jamaican, which is about $95 US. If anyone is interested, I have the information, including the URL to the page where you can sign up and instructions for sign up. So if you would like to learn Jamaican Sign Language, just put your email address in the chat and just mention JSL, Jamaican Sign Language, and I'll send it to you.
I don't see any more questions in the chat, and
Emily, put your mic on. Unmute.
So, if you learn the Jamaican, I wanted to say before that Sandra is my sister, and our parents were Jamaican, born in Kingston. Yeah. So, if you learn the Jamaican, I guess patois, the sign language, is that anyway similar to English, British English, American English?
The American Sign Language and Jamaican Sign Language have about a 75 to 80% overlap in the signs used for the alphabet. There are many more differences when you begin to involve facial expressions, body posture, but if you sign slowly, I've been told that someone who understands JSL can understand someone who's using ASL. I don't know about British Sign Language, how that fits. There's a Japanese Sign Language. There's probably a dozen or more different sign languages. They're all related, but they're all different. But I think if you learn the basics in one, you can pick up the rest.
Mm-hmm. And then the next question was, I wanted to ask, is there a minimum to becoming a financial minimum or a certain amount? But then Maria said to talk one-on-one. So I don't know.
I can address that. We have our standard, okay, so yeah, it's called an active membership in Rotary. And our standard active membership cost is $150. That includes what we're US. Yeah, thank you. That includes what we're required to pay Rotary International, what we're required to pay our local district, a very little bit to handle the club overhead. We have to buy pins and such. And then about $100 US for our service projects. So basically 100 of the 150 goes directly towards our service projects. So we recognize that when we are pulling members from all over the world, that not everybody has the capacity to, and our dues are 100 or 150 a quarter. We recognize that not everyone has the capacity for that level of a a dues structure. So we have what we're calling a service and also a family dues structure. So there's some flexibility. So based on your needs and situation, you know, that we can talk. What I will say is for those that ask for reduced membership level, that you can help us by fundraising or also finding new members. So you can help us fill in the gap by, you know, helping us fundraise through other people. So, but again, so those details I'll be happy to discuss one-on-one so that you understand what the possibilities are. Because we'd like to have anybody that's got a heart for service in Jamaica with this school to join us, of course.
Okay.
Any other
Angie?
questions?
Angie, you had a question, right? Unmute. Uh-oh. We can't hear you because you have to unmute.
Okay,
Okay.
finally. Yes, so I have friends that deal with projects like this, and my question was about recruitment, and she basically answered. I have some people that I know would be interested in this. Some are already in Jamaica right now, and I know people that are in the tech world that can contribute service as well as possibly donate whatever materials they need in that area.
That would be very helpful. Making connections is something else that we're very focused on right now because, you know, we know that as our existing 13 members, we don't have all the expertise we need to be effective. So we need to find people on the ground that have skills that we don't have. We need to find donors. We need to find people who know people who know people who can get some of our questions answered. And so networking is what we're all about. And for instance, I didn't mention it during the presentation, but the next ask, okay, so next year, you know, we've got 3 projects. It's the girls' shower room, it's the air conditioning unit, and it's the roof over the stairway. That's next year. Guess what's the year after that? It's building a counseling center so that the counselor has a space where they can meet with the children. That is probably $150,000 US. We are a 13-member club. We do not have the capability of raising those kinds of funds. So significant fundraising is going to be essential to us in finding those corporate sponsors as an example, or those individual donors who are philanthropic in nature and have big bucks to give. Those are the type of connections that will really help us achieve our goals as we move forward. So thank you, Angela.
So I would just like to wrap this up by saying, you know, 2 years from now, that $150,000 project is monumental right now, but we have not said no. We're a small club, but I think we're an impactful club and we can be a powerful club. And we're going to see if we can rise to that challenge. It does mean that we're going to have to go way over and above in our fundraising. So if anyone is interested in joining as a member or as got connections that could help us fundraise, we would welcome the connection. We would welcome you into this club because deaf children in general have a lot of psychosocial problems. And Listermere Gilby has a counseling program to deal with those, but they don't have a space where they can do one-on-one counseling in privacy. They don't have a space where they can do group counseling. And so their top priority for 2 years from now, 2026, is a guidance center where they can do that kind of counseling. And so we're going to see if we can achieve that goal. That's our plan for 2 years from now.